mamas, my name's Corinne and welcome back to My Modern Village, where we talk about anything and everything that has to do with you and your little ones. Today's kind of a rough day for me, so I wanted to make sure to share what's going on today. It is my last day of paid maternity leave after having this little guy here, and it's definitely rough. So even though I'm super lucky and I am taking another week and a half or so of vacation for my older son's birthday, so I'm not actually going back to work tomorrow, but I should be. And I'm not ready to go back to work. I mean, look at this little guy. He doesn't look like he's ready to be without mom, and I'm definitely not ready to be without him. I am, again, lucky in that I work from home a lot of the time, so there are, big pockets of the day where I would still get to see him throughout the day, but that doesn't make it any less hard. The idea of kind of leaving this world, of being in this baby bubble, where everything you do all day is centered around them and their well-being, and just kind of bonding with your new baby, to going back to answering to a boss and the corporate world and customers and direct reports and everything else that goes along with your normal job. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time today just kind of talking about it and how it impacts us. With my firstborn, I was way less prepared, I think, for the idea of leaving him, and even though I ended up working from home a lot, still the idea of being torn from him throughout the day and not being the one that was able to tend to his cries, it just breaks your heart as a mom. And this time around, I can't say it's any easier, the thought of kind of leaving them throughout the day, even if you are still working from home. But I'm a little bit more prepared, I think, for just like the emotional toll that takes, the idea of going back to work, but it still doesn't make it easy. So here in the United States, I've read or seen or heard that, we have some of the worst maternity leave in the developed world. And it's really sad. It's really hard. I hate reading on mom Facebook groups how some moms go back to work after 4 weeks. Sometimes it's not even paid, and you're back to work and you have to leave your babies, and it's not fair. And I know that's kind of childish to just say it's not fair, right? Not a whole lot in life is fair, but it's more than that. It's not right. Having a baby and going through those first several months with them is emotionally and physically life-changing, right? And a few weeks to bond with them and to care for them is not enough. So then we're expected to just kind of jump back into our jobs. I know since COVID, there are a lot more remote jobs. We're able to work from home a lot more often. There's more flexibility. I am one of those lucky people that I do work from home mostly. But still, if I'm not the one that's primarily tending to his cries and his needs throughout the day, it still feels like I'm missing out throughout the day. And I would never say that it's just as hard as somebody that has to actually leave their baby somewhere, when they go to work throughout the day. But I don't want to take away from any moms that do work from home how hard it is still to be in the house and hear them crying and not be the one that's able to run towards them. And make sure that they're okay and everything else, that you're kind of relying on somebody else to do that, whether it's a nanny or dad or another family member or something else too. So yes, even though we do have another week or so, I'm still dreading, I'm counting down those days in a bad way leading up to my first day back at work. So the whole idea of me starting this channel was to talk about what's missing, I think, for a lot of moms when you don't have that super strong village, and I think going back to work is one of those times that it's absolutely highlighted, that if you don't have a strong village or you don't have somebody out there supporting you, just how hard it really is to go through parenthood. So, my husband and I, we are living right now in the town that we grew up in. We have 3 sets of grandparents, all within a couple-hour drives. There's some aunts and uncles and cousins, siblings, not mine, my husband's, but they're all within a few hours from here. But it's not quite the village that we thought it would be. So let's talk about how having a village, or lack thereof, really affects you when you're going back to work after maternity leave. So I think, leading up to those last final weeks of maternity leave, you're probably really starting to stress if you don't have a village with what exactly you're going to do and what it's going to look like. I have some friends where, when they went back to work, the mom's sister was able to watch the baby, so he got dropped off at auntie daycare all day while mom and dad were at work, and I just think what a blessing that is, right? It's like not only is that baby with somebody that's trusted, but it's family, and if she has kids, and he's literally growing up with cousins, and that's really what it means to have a village and somebody that's there for you. I don't know if there's any sort of money exchange, but if they're not charging, anything to watch their nephew, then what an amazing blessing that is too, to not have to pay for daycare. I'm sure you guys have all seen those videos and numbers out there just kind of going over really how expensive it is to pay for childcare at different age groups in the US, and it's ridiculous. I mean, thousands of dollars a month in some states and some cities is what it costs, and that's, varies of course by age of the baby or the child, and whether you have a nanny, it's an in-home daycare, or you're just sending it into a traditional daycare, but it's a lot of money. So having that village not only is there for the emotional and physical support of you and your family, but also the financial support as well. We also have close family who, when they went back to work, the baby was dropped off at the grandparents' house, and they were able to watch her all day, from 7 a.m. to 5 or 6 p.m. at night. That's just never been an option for my husband and I. We've had to figure it all out ourselves. We've never had any grandparents, watch them during the day while we're at work for the full day, or help with pick up and drop off at school, or anything to that nature, and it's for various reasons. Some of them are still working, some of them don't live super close, and everybody has their own lives too. But it's easy to miss that part of having a village if you don't have it, especially if you've seen other people in your life that have been able to take advantage of it. So another thing that makes going back to work really hard is feeding babies, right? I mean, my son here is exclusively breastfed. We haven't even really gotten good with bottles, so I've been working on a milk stash, pretty much the whole time I've been on leave. I pump just once in the morning. Usually I get anywhere from like 2 to 4 ounces, and I freeze that right away. And I, doing that over 12 weeks or so, a few ounces a day, it's definitely added up. So I absolutely have enough, to get through those first couple of days of being in the office. But that doesn't take away from the stress of, is he going to take the bottle? We keep meaning to practice, and I keep meaning to start, making sure that he takes it and that he's okay with the thawed milk and everything. But it's just so easy while I'm on leave to just to feed him, real quick and not have to mess with the bottles. And also, as a breastfeeding mom, I love that bonding time with him as well too. I'm not saying breast is best, I think fed is best, but for me, this one was really easy to breastfeed. My firstborn, we struggled more. We supplemented formula, we had lactation consultants, we supplemented bottles. He ended up having a milk allergy, so we couldn't do formula anyways. Thankfully, I was able to pretty much exclusively breastfeed him after he was a couple months old or so. And with him, I didn't have to start going back into the office until he was coming up on a year old. So at that point, he was on solid foods, he was taking bottles, no problem. But this one, even though I work from home most of the time, I will have to go into the office starting next month, about once a week or so. And my husband will be home, if I go in on his day off, so he will be home with him to feed him and take care of him. But I know it's a point of stress on both of us, how well he's going to do with the bottle. So that's something else too, that moms, that when you're going back to work, you have to plan, and it's a whole separate part of being a mom is to figure out how to feed your baby right now, but then you're planning on how to feed your baby in the future too, and not even you're the one doing it, it's how somebody else going to feed your baby for you, right? If you are going to send them to a traditional daycare, they need bottles on hand, and you have to have that all prepared and sent with them every day. It's a lot to juggle mentally, right? It's the emotional and the mental load of having a baby and then getting ready to go back to work is a lot on moms. And that's where having that village can really, really help you and save you through some of those stressful moments. So for those moms out there who, like me, don't have that village, I'm sorry, and I hear you. So for those moms that have, made it back to work after having a baby, I would love to hear in the comments down below, what worked really well for you, right? We're here to support each other and, share some of those tips and tricks. What are some struggles? What are some things that you'd wish you'd known ahead of time? Also, for those that do have the village, shout it out. You let us know in the comments that as well too. If you do have that strong village, I am happy for you and I'm grateful that you have that. Not everybody does, but we definitely shouldn't put each other down if somebody else has something that we wish we had too. I mean, we have to lift each other up, and that's amazing. So give a shout out to whoever your village is. Again, they deserve it, right? They don't have to do that. Your friends and family, or whoever it is, they don't have to be there for you and your baby to that extent. So if they are, hey, they deserve all those accolades. That's amazing. So the other thing that weighs, I think, really heavily on our heads and our hearts when maternity leave is coming to an end, and this is probably true a little bit more for moms than dads, although I'm sure both parents go through it, but is that decision whether or not we even should go back to work, right? If you work out of the home especially, there's a big chance that you're going to miss out on certain milestones. You're not going to be there for every little moment, every little thing that your baby goes through. I know, but it's a trade-off to be able to bring in, that financial stability to your family. A lot of families live off of a 2-household income, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's really hard that we have to choose, it seems like, between being a stay-at-home mom and being there for our kids and involved and able to pick up and drop off and be the parent that goes to field trips and, PTA meetings or whatever else there is, versus, contributing to the house financially. And nothing against stay-at-home moms and nothing against moms that go back to work full-time. So since I got pregnant with the second baby here, I have been desperately looking for a solution to where I did not have to choose between being a stay-at-home mom and being present for my babies, and being able to financially contribute to the household. And I finally found it. I found it this year in 2024. It's a company that teaches digital marketing, but it's a different type. There's a whole different system behind it. This is not one of those, all you need is a smartphone and 2 to 3 hours a day and you'll make 20 grand a month. Absolutely not. If you ever hear that, it's a scam. This company that I found, they have a full curriculum, they have a community, they have experts, they have everything you absolutely need to start an online business. I know. To start an online business of your very own, where you can do something you absolutely love and contribute financially to your family's success. So this company I found, it's a full curriculum. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. There is work and time that goes into this. But if you're serious about wanting to figure out a way where you can have your time back, where you're able to pick up and drop off your kids from school, be there for every single practice, play, game, match, whatever, and contribute significantly to your family, I highly recommend you check this out. I'll drop the link below. It is a separate link from my normal email newsletter. This one will ask for your name and email, but it'll get you started on some quick start videos, the same exact series of videos that I got started with. Hi. And it'll let you know exactly, what this program is about, what the company is about, and, what's possible with it. Again, it's to build an online business, something that you are passionate about, that you can scale and grow and make as successful as you want. But I figured today was a good day to talk about this because while I just started, this year in 2024, and actually not that long ago, within the last few months, I'm not in a position yet where I can quit my day job and work on my online business full time, but I'm absolutely headed there. My only regret so far is that I didn't find this and start this when I was on leave or when I was pregnant with my firstborn, because I think by this time I would be completely financially free and working on my own time. I would not be on maternity leave because I wouldn't need maternity leave, with this one if I'd started this a few years ago. So it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Like I said, it will take, investing time, energy, and effort into it. But if you're serious about changing your life and you want something different for how you are with your family, you have to check it out. I promise you won't regret at least looking into it. At the very least you can say, I looked at this and it's not for me. And it isn't going to be for everybody. You know, anybody can do this, not everybody will. And that's because of the time commitment that it will take, and possibly the financial commitment it will take too. It does take a lot of time to prepare it. There's a lot of education and preparation that goes into it before you can just, you know, launch your business and expect to start making money. So while I haven't yet been able to quit my job and work on this full time, there are plenty of people in the community that have. You know, they've replaced their full-time incomes, a lot of them pretty high earning incomes, and are now living this life of total, you know, time freedom, and a lot of them are a lot better off financially than they were even with their full-time jobs. So just like with anything, you're going to get out of it what you put into it, and that goes for both the time commitment and the financial commitment. These are legitimate online businesses, so there is some financial investment that goes into it, but it's nothing like it would be if you were trying to invest in like a brick and mortar business, like, you know, buying a coffee shop or something like that and starting a business. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Like I said, I would never sit here and tell you guys that this is a get rich quick scheme. You know, it's going to cost you 20 bucks and you're going to be off making 20 grand a month. Anything that sounds like that is probably a scam. And I definitely don't want to try and sell you on the idea of any sort of scam. This is an education. It is a whole complete different skill set. My only regret is that I didn't start this years ago, or even as soon as I saw it earlier this year, that I didn't start it right away. So I'm on my way. We're working towards it. You know, I'm hoping to be free from my 9-to-5 job sooner rather than later. But again, with, you know, currently having a full-time job and 2 kids, you know, I'm trying to work it into my busy schedule too. But if I can do it, you can do it. So that information will be below. Again, I highly recommend you check it out if it's something you're interested in. If you're happy where you're at, more power to you. You know, if you love just being a stay-at-home mom, you guys don't need the extra financial income. Or if you're happy with your career, you know, that's totally fine as well. I loved my career at one point too. It's just, it's gotten to the point where I don't love it anymore, and that's why I started to look for something else. So as I'm sitting here on my last day of my official maternity leave, you know, I'm just kind of reflecting back over the last 12 weeks and all the time I've gotten to spend with my baby. You know, I've worked on my online businesses to, you know, hopefully in the pretty near future be able to leave my day job and just be a full-time mom, but also again be contributing significantly to my family's success and my family's financial future. But I guarantee you that as moms, no matter how much time we get on maternity leave, whether it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, or 6 months, it's probably not enough. For all those moms out there that don't have the village they wish they had, you are strong enough to get through this. You're just going to have to do things a little differently maybe than you first thought you would. But I'm here for you. Other moms are here for you. There's other ways that we can find support, and I want to continue to provide any sort of information, updates, resources, anything to help you guys in any way I can, just to kind of get through it. It helps me to think that I'm connecting with other moms out there, because it is hard, right? It is hard to raise our babies without a strong support system around us, and we all deserve that. So my goal is that if you don't have a strong village physically around you, that you find your village here. You know, that there's things on this channel that help you get through some of those tougher moments. If there's something you are struggling with or you want to talk about, let me know. You know, that's what we're here for. You know, we have to support each other, and we can be this online community, this online village to get each other through. So again, I'm going to drop that link below if you're interested in learning how to build an online business, so that way you can be home with your babies full time and make a full-time income. Please check it out. That very first part after the free series, I believe I got started, it was less than 40 bucks. So that initial, you know, financial commitment is pretty small, you know, just to kind of get a little bit more deeper into the community and see what it's all about. Then if you decide it is for you, like I said, there's a bunch of options as far as what your next steps can be. You can reach out to me personally, and I'm happy to answer any questions I can for you. Don't forget to also grab my email newsletter that just has to do with the channel, and please subscribe, of course, that way we can continue to stay a community and help each other out. But thanks so much for any moms out there on maternity leave. Stay strong. We're going to get through those first days back at work, and I'll see you next time.